Matt Makes Games. Oh, well, at least it's honest, eh? A game by Matt, Noel, Amora, Pedro, Lena, Kevin and friends. And on that note, welcome to my new Let's Play of... Autosaving. My new Let's Play of Celeste. A very beautiful, charming indie game that I stumbled upon because one of the YouTubers I watched played through it and introduced it to me. It's on the Switch, PS4, Xbone, PC, I'm pretty sure. And it's just a really fun game. This is it, Madeline. Just breathe. And just like the tension in the last game I played, there's going to be a lot of talking. Why are you so nervous? But don't worry, this is not going to get all philosophical and horror. Because look how charming this game is. We play as Madeline, this cute Canadian ginger girl who, as we'll learn as we go through, has her own struggles that she'll face, but she has decided upon herself to climb Mount Celeste. A mountain that's actually real in Canada. Excuse me, ma'am. The sign out front is busted. Is this the mountain trail? You're almost there. It's just across the bridge. I can't do old people voices, sorry. By the way, you should call someone about your driveway. The ridge collapsed and I nearly died. If my driveway almost did you in, the mountain might be a bit much for you. Well, if an old bat like you could survive out here, I think I'll be fine. Suit yourself. But you should know, Celeste Mountain is a strange place. You might see things you aren't ready to see. You should seek help, lady. And the game has a lot of charm of its writing as well. That's the best way to describe it. This entire game is charming as we get our inspiring push right to the start. Come on, we can make it. And thankfully time will freeze for our little birdie friend to tell us that the square button allows us to dash in mid-air. Whatever direction you're holding when you press the dash button is the direction you go, and it does work in all 8 directions. So keep that in mind, because of course they're going to start using that. You can do this. And that's it for the beginning, the prologue. But we'll do level 1 as well. As you'll notice, I'm working off my 100% completed file, though it doesn't affect anything. It's just because I want to show like the actual proper end card at the end, because depending on how many of these, the strawberries, you collect, depends on what end card you get, like what ending you get. And I want to show off the best end card, but I'm not going to follow a walkthrough and hunt down every single one. I'll get any I find along the way and any I remember, but I'm not going to be directly going down for every single one sort of thing. So that's also the reason why they're blue, because this is off my main file, so I've already collected them. I have to check to see if there's one here now, because look at this. This is so clearly one that looks like it is. Oh, there's nothing. Okay, well, I'm going to accept that death. You can tell if you have a charge enough for the dash, because her hair will remain ginger. If it goes light blue, you don't have the dash anymore. If the strawberry's got wings on them, you have to get it without dashing, and I don't think you're allowed to use assist mode either. Which is a feature in this game that, I'm going to be honest, I don't like at all. Like, I wouldn't mind it if the game didn't reward you the same if you use it on me, because assist mode allows you to make yourself immortal, have unlimited dashes, and ignore spike, just ignore everything. It makes the game a complete joke, which is fine if you want to experience just a story, but it rewards you exactly the same if you don't, which is the only thing that kind of bugs me, because then there's no incentive to just not use it other than your own challenge. Because there's also hard mode versions of the levels you can unlock called the B-sides and later the C-sides, and you can just do the same. And so I refrained from using assist the entire way through my original playthrough. But there's enough about that. If you head over to the left here, we can be introduced to a new character, this lovely gentleman. Oh there, fellow traveller. Oh, hi. What a killer night for a hike. I guess so. This place is so crazy. I can't believe it exists. Not the easiest climb, is it? But I guess that's what I'm looking for. Whoa, that sounds pretty serious. I'm just happy to see another human in such a lonely place. I'm Theo, by the way, an adventurer from a far-off land. Not much of a talker, are you? Mysterious lone wolf type. I get it. I'd mention some dark backstory for you. Hey, sorry, I'm Madeline. I've got a lot on my mind. Well, Madeline, I've seen you've come to the right place. I'm freezing my toes off, but I can't imagine a better place for some quiet reflection. Yeah, maybe you're right. What far-off land do you hail from? Well, my inquisitive compatriots, I doth hail from the mystical, exotic kingdom of... Seattle. It sounds like a special place. This place is wild. Why would an entire city be abandoned? I read that some mega corporation started building it and then no one wanted to live here. I wonder why. My money's on a government cover-up. What a waste to build all this for no reason. At least we got to enjoy the leftovers. Are you here to explore the city? Yeah, I have a thing for abandoned places. And I like to think of myself as a budding photographer. Oh really? Cool. Do you have a blog or something? A blog? Madeline. Everyone uses Instapics now. I'm Theo under stars, look me up. This terrain is pretty tricky. Are you turning back soon? Nope, I'm heading for the summit. I can really see the determination in your eyes. It's inspiring. If you say so. I bet you could make it to the summit too. Maybe. I don't really care about reaching the top, TBH. Oh, but I heard there's some legit old ruins beyond the city. Like 1800s legit. I know it's risky, but I have to see them for myself. What's that thing you say right before you do something irresponsible? Throw caution to the wind? No, that's not it. Oh, right. They made an 8-bit sound for YOLO. Right, we can't go up there yet because the blocks you can't go through. But that's what I mean, if that little bit right there was an indicator in itself, this game has so much charm and character about it. What you saw there is something that speedrunners use more than I do, which is that you can, like, on the very corner of select spikes in the games, their hitboxes are slightly smaller, deliberately, and so you can land on them or grab on the side of them for about half a second and jump to get off it. Similar to other games in this vein, like if you've played Super Meat Boy, you'll feel right at home with this game. If you die, it just resets the room. The challenge is always the room you're in, nothing more. There's no punishment on death, you just start the room again, you don't have to worry about it. Every so often you might see me hold down toward and then dash and jump, and you see me make loads of distance super quickly. Don't worry if you can't do it yourself. There's only one area in the entire game that expects you to do it, and it's not only not in the main game, but it's not in the initial post game either. When you unlock the post game and get the B-sides, you beat every single B-side you unlock this extra thing called the C-side. The very last C-side mission, it asks you to use it, and that's it. This here's a puzzle to Crystal Heart. The birds show you what direction is what colour, whilst on the satellite it tells you what order you need to go in, and you're dashing in the order of what you see. Give me a second to try and remember what the pattern was. I think it's... oh shit. I think it's death, apparently. Alright, so it's white, blue, red, purple, yellow. So that's... white, purple, blue... hang on. Oh, got it, okay. Just I was getting a bit muddled thinking, oh, I think I've missed one. Well, if you do it, you get your first crystal heart, and yes, most of the crystal hearts in this game are cryptic. They're your big gun collectibles, so to speak. There's one in every level, and there's also a tape you need to find called the B-side tape, which will unlock the B-side of that level, which is just a far harder version of that level. Sort of like the dark side in Super Meat Boy, and you're not the dark side of each level, that sort of thing. There's also the strawberries, which are the game. When the game explains it to you, it says it's just there to impress your friends, and it means it literally. It depends. The friends you make throughout the game will like you more the more strawberries you have, but that's only for one little snippet right at the end. Like I said, your end picture, which isn't really spoilers because this plot isn't something that's like deep or compelling. It's just being it. It does cover a few topics that we'll get more into later on, and some of it you can already sort of hear the feeling. the soundtrack was composed by someone who's very open about her anxiety and depression and wanted to convey it in her soundtrack for this game. And you can hear it throughout it, like what she wanted to do. Whether she accomplished it or not, it's entirely up to you and how you perceive it. But I enjoyed the soundtrack for what it is. I think it's a very beautiful, charming soundtrack that just works with a beautiful, charming game that is Celeste. And I'm going to be using those words a hell of a lot, so get used to them. But just... instead of talking about the soundtrack, I'm just going to let it play so you can hear what I mean. And this is the first levels track. Every level as we go through it just have different tracks that are mystical or enjoyable, or if it's a darker level have a way of really making you feel uncomfortable and getting onto you. But just the entirety of this game's soundtrack is beautiful. It's on YouTube. The composer herself uploaded the entire soundtrack to YouTube, so I could feel comfortable in just saying go listen to it, because the composer herself didn't mind throwing it all on YouTube to listen to. Yeah, I have to be careful because she's a little protective of her music, shall we say. Like, if I play the music too much, she might copyright me. But hopefully it won't get to that. All I'm doing is praising her soundtrack, so hopefully she'll leave me alone. But seriously, if you haven't heard the soundtrack before, go listen to it. It's amazing. And on the B-side, they have different composers doing little remixes of it for each one. I don't know how much of it was directly involved by the leading lady herself, which name slips my mind, and so I'll make sure to glance at Google quickly before the second part, just before I start recording it, because just like Detention, I'm recording this live. Ooh. Oh, by the way, this is your tape, so you can get the B-side. If you sit on the menu where it says B-side unlocked, you'll hear the B-side music. But for the sake of moving on, I just skipped on, because we'll hear it properly later on, because I will be tackling the B-sides as well. When I beat the main game, they'll count them all as just extra parts, but I will be tackling the entirety of the B-sides, all the deaths and all. Because the B-sides, some of them are really flippin' tough. Some are really difficult, but I'm going to tackle them all anyway. As for the C-sides, that really depends on the mood I'm in, because the C-sides I'm not even remotely consistent in. The B-sides I know I can do all of them. The C-sides I can do after about 2 hours of grinding at one, and I don't think that would be fun to watch. It's like me dying at the same spot loads of times. I think there's a secret here as well. Yeah, there is. Just this soundtrack is so beautiful. Everything about this game just caught my charm. I kind of alluded to it in Detention, but originally I was planning on let's playing this game first and then doing Detention, but I eventually decided to do it the other way around because Detention was more fresh on my mind, and I felt that it would be better to tackle the more light-hearted and graceful games last instead of first, because I think that this is a much easier game for people to get into if you watch the Detention Let's Play. This memorial dedicated to those who perished on the climb. As we approach the campfire, we get this scene. I'm exhausted. Lighting us pixely campfire, we let our bag go down and we sit and just rest a little bit. This might have been a mistake. And at the end of every level we get a nice piece of artwork here. And that's the end of this part. Next time on Celeste, we'll advance into our adventures throughout the night. But until then, you guys take care now.